Hey guys, it's Brinks, and today I'm going to go over some of my initial thoughts on Janet, especially regarding her synergy with Smoke. This obviously won't be as in-depth as a cameo class or as heavily edited, since it's more of a preliminary summary, just like I did when Chameleon came out. It's also way too early to cover everything with this cameo, especially, but I just wanted to give my first impressions of her and if I think she's going to be a good Smoke cameo in the long run, so let's get into it. So I'm sure you're aware that Janet is quite a complex cameo, and I think she has a lot of tools that Smoke can benefit quite well from. But I want to start with probably the least impactful move for Smoke, which is this Mime Wall. She creates a barrier that the opponent can't pass, and that's about it. It breaks in 4 hits, or what I think is 10% damage, so most big hits will break it on the first hit, but it can tank multiple projectiles or normals. So it seems like it'd be more useful for a character that wants to zone the opponent and keep them away, and obviously Smoke is not that. So the most we can really get from it is the safe activation of invisibility. But in general, if you have the opportunity to set this up, since it is a summon, you're probably better off just setting up the puppet move instead. The only other edge case I can see this being useful is if you have a life lead and the timer is low, you could set this up and walk back to basically guarantee a win depending on how low the timer is. Janet's Nut Punch is the next move to talk about, and I think this one's going to be a bit more useful for Smoke since it's a restand that leaves you plus 34. And if you land it in a juggle, it can be even more plus. It seems to be more plus the higher off the ground the opponent is when you land it. It's a decent reversal as well against some gaps, and it is only -6 on block, which is really only getting punished by Lee May. So it's a pretty straightforward move, and it's definitely usable for Smoke since being plus 34 means a guaranteed strike throw mix, and all of our highs will jail from the Nut Punch as well, so it's just free pressure if nothing else. The next move to talk about just rams things up to crazy territory, and is probably good enough for Smoke by itself to justify picking Janet, and that's the Jump Punch. There are 2 distances it can be done, close and far, and you can do it up to 3 times per cameo call. It seems that you can only do up to 4 total punches per combo, so if you use all 3 punches in one call and call her again in the same combo, she'll only do the 1 punch in that one. You can't repeat it. And also, if you start with 2 punches the first time you call her in, the second time you call her in during the same combo, it'll only let you do 2 punches as well. You won't be able to do all 3 in that second call. Otherwise, it's your standard rule-breaking ambush, but for Smoke, it gives us access to a lot of different combo extensions that usually require specific cameos. So we can combo after a Shadow Blade, which is cool for raw anti-air stuff and just for weird combo extensions. We can combo off a forward 4 into pretty wild damage, which normally we're only going to do with meter. And what I think is the most important usage of this move, we can combo after a back forward 3. As I've mentioned in past Smoke videos, this is super useful since it lets us get a full combo during pressure if you think the opponent's going to try to mash to stop you from canceling in front of them. And this is like the main reason for using Scorpion cameo, I think, as it makes the cancel mind games much deadlier compared to just the 7% you'd normally get for doing it. But now we get it with Janet, along with still being able to combo from a regular teleport or combo into an EX Smoke Ball, which are both things that Scorpion also gives us. And if you do the 3-hit version of Janet's punch, they're in the air for so long that we can even just combo into an EX Teleport cancel while they're up there. Though if you want the combo into invisibility, it's still probably better to just do the EX Smoke Ball routes. In general, this move just gives us a ton of combo options, and they all lead to pretty insane damage. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of scaling on this move for Janet. So it bolsters both our cancel pressure and our regular strike throw mix, since a forward 3 combo leads to way more damage with Janet too. So there's that. The last thing to go over is the puppet move. This move is also insane, and I think Smoke can benefit quite a bit from it as well, just like seemingly the whole roster. But it's a little early to say how much, since I think setups for this are going to take a bit to really optimize. You can basically program the moves you want her to do as she comes in, So if I call her and mash the force ball input, for example, she's going to do those as soon as she's able to when she jumps in, while Smoke is free to move around during all of that. You can also buffer multiple inputs any other time that you call her, such as while Smoke is already in an animation. I don't really have any gross setups to show off right now with this, but I do think this move is going to be pretty crazy for Smoke as we get better with it and explore all the setups. The safest way to set it up, I think, seems to be after a forward 1-2, 1+3, which our usual B&Bs will end with, so that's pretty cool. I think for Smoke, setting her up to break armor on Wake Up is probably going to be the better option. We can also set up a little gross overhead low mix with her sweep and a jump normal. I don't think Smoke is the best at doing this compared to some other characters, but it's still a thing that we can do. So there's that. I think we might be able to use her to plug some gaps in our pressure as well, potentially, but it's also probably not as good for Smoke as some other characters are doing. If you've seen any of the gross chip damage, like Shredder setups with Baraka or Raiden. Overall though, I think it's going to take time to really see what all Janet lets us do. So my early guess is that she's going to be yet another cameo on the list of really good, but not necessarily the best Smoke cameos. But Smoke synergizes pretty well with so many cameos at this point that unless you're in top 8 at a major, you can't really go wrong picking whichever one you like most on that list, including Janet. So I'll still probably be picking Sector, but the robots are cool and I'm a little biased. So that's going to be it for my early impressions of Janet and Smoke. Obviously there's going to be a lot more to discover with her, and I am excited to see where the meta goes from here. So let me know in the comments though if you found any Janet dirt. And if you made it this far in the video, you're fucking awesome, and I super appreciate you as always. So thanks for watching, guys. Later.